The anime just finished its 4-part story arc July 15th, Thursday, where they put 4 arcs from the manga into 4 episodes, splitting them up to allow cutaways to other fights. I was pretty excited to reach this point of Is Unbreakable as it features some of the best fights in the part in my opinion, Superfly and Enigma, or Mysterioso as Crunchyroll calls it, which works just as well considering it takes its name from the absolutely awesome Thelonious Monk album. Superfly wasn't as good as I remembered it being, but on the other hand Enigma absolutely delivered, and today I'm going to talk about why it works so well. JoJo has been going on for so long that the chances are if you see a trope in it, the manga was one of the first to do it. Despite that, in part 4 there can be such a dramatic tone shift from episode to episode that it almost seems like it's a parody of the genre the arc takes inspiration from, which is absolutely perfect for how over the top the entire series is. The Enigma arc in the anime adds a horror vibe for the first half which I didn't experience in the manga to this extent, and it makes one of my favourite arcs that much better. Throughout the first episode of the arc, we see glimpses of Teranosuke interacting with Koichi and the aftermath of his encounter with Tomoko, which will be confusing to the viewer as they'll have no idea what's going on. By the second episode though, everything clicks as Toyohiro says Kira's dad is on the offensive. This adds a lot of intensity as it reminds us that we're getting near to the end game and the cast really have to watch out. Build up is always a pretty cool thing, and when we finally meet Teranosuke it's a bit of a mindfuck with Tomoko flying out of nowhere and the cast having no idea what's happening. There's a really nice shot from the villain's perspective down an alley, giving an image of a predator lying in wait, with the walls being slightly distorted, which goes with the theme of the stand which you see in the next scene. From Teranosuke's calm but unnerving voice to the violin tremolo in the background which I've heard in so many horror movies, and the goddamn mist that's in the room, it's just so ridiculous but still manages to convey the right tone. When we get to the stand reveal, it's portrayed in an unnatural way compared to all others, emerging from a black flame chasing Tomoko as reality falls apart around her. It's very effective at showing the complete helplessness of the situation, especially since Tomoko isn't a stand user, and that's exactly what you want to feel. Now, is the episode actually scary? No, not really. It's taking from a lot of tropes we've seen time and time again that wouldn't really have an effect on the reader or viewer, similarly to how I don't think Psycho would be that scary to modern audiences like it was back in its day. However, it is refreshing to see a stand battle start off in a completely different way to the rest of the fights, and does encapsulate everything we love about JoJo. It's cheesy, batshit crazy, and has its signature charm. Of course, it's absolutely fitting considering the entire stand's ability is based in fear. For the third episode and the second part of this fight, we get to see what was in the paper. Josuke unfolded it, and out of everything, it's a goddamn gun. Coming out of paper. Shooting Josuke point blank. Definitely a cold opening if I've ever seen one. This is where the horror dissipates a little bit as all sorts of crazy shit comes flying out of the paper, with some of it barely making sense. Can you really have a taxi with the driver stored in there? Really? One of my favourite things of the fourth part is the amount of recurring characters we get, which is why I love the fact that Highway Star helps out in this fight. It's one of the more interesting stands, and while it wasn't really used in a creative way in this episode, it was still cool to see how someone different deals with the threat presented to him since Josuke was incapacitated. When Josuke comes out of the shredder, complete with his badass pose, we get something we haven't seen enough of, a good old fashioned JoJo beatdown. What's not to love?